This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I'm here in the kitchens of Toronto's Queen and Beaver pub with Chef Andrew Carter. How are you today, sir?
Very well, thank you, Jamie. Yourself?
I am fantastic. Now, what are we going to be doing this afternoon?
This afternoon we're going to do our 48-hour Brined pork chop with some Pea Dumplings and some Oxford sauce. So I'm going to go through the whole process from start to finish, and then we'll put the dish up at the end of it.
Fantastic. Let's go.
So what we do, we take a beautiful loin of pork. It's a full loin of pork, and it's a very lean piece of meat. We've got a nice fat cap on there, but the piece of meat itself is quite a lean piece of meat. The discoloration is because of the brine, which we'll get onto, but it's a beautiful lean piece of meat. And what tends to happen when you cook something like this, it will dry out because it doesn't have that meat, the fat content. So what I decided to do was brine it. What brining does, it comes from two different ends. It comes from a tenderization point of view, a flavor point of view, and a moisture point of view. So what we do, we make up a brine of salt, sugar, and some aromatics. The aromatics, because this brine is going to go actually into the piece of meat. So we're looking to get some kind of flavor in there as well as keep that moisture and make it more tender.
What do you mean by aromatics exactly, Chef?
Aromatics, we're talking, in the one that we do some chili flakes, some lemongrass, thyme, allspice, those kind of things that give it an aromatic taste. Those things that are really in the back of the palate, they're not going to be forward. Like I say, chili, and everybody thinks it's going to be spicy. It's not going to be spicy from the meat point of view. The sauce has got a little bit of a spice, but we want to put some flavours in there, which marry up with the sauces and the other things we're doing. So, so the other end of the brining process is to denaturalize the proteins. So what that does is a chemical thing that actually starts to unravel those proteins to make it tender, to make it more tender, if you like. And then also what happens, a piece of meat is going to suck in some of that moisture as well. So hence why we put some of those aromatics in, because if you're going to put moisture in there, you may as well put flavour in at the same time. So that's what we do.
Right. Okay.
So we submerge this. We make a brine, which we use 3 litres of water, half a litre of salt, half a litre of sugar, and those aromatics that I spoke about. We let that cool down, and then we submerge the piece in the brine. So it's totally submerged in the brine. This has been in for 48 hours. It's just come out. It's nice and dry now. Like I say, the colour is the reaction, the chemical reaction that's gone on. So when I cut into that, you'll see the beautiful meat inside. So why don't I take this and we'll take off one of the chops. So we do a nice thick cut.
What kind of weight would that be?
You're looking there probably about 12 to 13, 12, 14 ounces. So it's a nice big chop. And you can see beautiful meat. There is a little bit of marbling through there. Some beautiful pork coming out of Ontario right now.
So this is Ontario pork?
This would be Ontario, yeah. But that's sucked in that flavour. So you could probably, there is a bit of a smell there. You can smell it. So you get almost the sweetness of the sugar there, and then you get those the lemongrass and some of the other aromatics coming through, even in the smell there. So I'm going to get this on the grill. What we do with this, we're actually going to grill it. So this is one way that we would break this down into chops and we'd serve this in the restaurant. Another way that we actually serve this piece, we will serve it family style. So I'm just going to pop that on the grill. I'm going to leave it. One of the things about grilling, put it on, leave it. Just going back to this piece, we can actually serve this as a family style in the restaurant. So we would actually roast it whole as well, which is a really nice way to present the piece. It's very dramatic for the table, and we'd also give the table a knife so they can carve it themselves. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
Now you were saying that, like, just to leave the meat on the grill. You mean like if you're grilling anything on a barbecue, you mean rather than just fart about and keep on fiddling with it and things like that, you just leave it on the grill like that?
You want a nice seal, whether you're using a grill or whether you're using a pan. You want that heat to seal the meat. So you're sealing all that moisture in there, you're sealing all those fats in there, so it's got a nice sealed edge to it. Because basically what I've done by cutting this open is cut open all the ends of the meat. If I actually cut it this way, that would have been what we call going with the grain. So if you go with the grain, you don't open up all that membrane. going across the grain as you cut a steak, say like a tenderloin is an easy way to do it. Yeah, easy way to look at it, you cut across the grain, so you open up all those faces, but then what you do, you're sealing all those faces, so you keep all those juices in.
Right, okay, we're good.
Okay, so we've now scored it off, so we've got beautiful score marks.
Oh wow, that looks fantastic.
So two things have happened here now. So we've sealed that meat out, and we've also put another flavour profile, another flavour level in there of the charring. So you've got to go think back to what we've got. So we started off with the pork. We put it into a brine. We've got all those aromatics in that brine as well. So there's two major flavour profiles going on. Now we've just put another layer of flavour on there with the charring. So this, although it looks like a simple pork chop, it's got a heck of a lot of things going on it right now. So,
right, okay.
So we'll just leave that to go there. And we're going to get on to our garnish now, if you like, or our starch and our veg that we serve. We serve a pea gnocchi, or as we like to call it, a pea dumpling, because we're not Italian restaurant. So we've got a pea dumpling, and dumplings are synonymous to England. So basically, it is a gnocchi recipe that we make a pea puree, an English pea puree, which we take some peas, some shallots, garlic, thyme, sweat those down. We add some stock to that, reduce it down, make a puree. Pass that so it's nice and smooth, so we've got no skins. And then we add that to the potato mix, and then we make our dumplings, and then poach them off just like you would with a gnocchi. Right. And also for the garnish, we're going to use some of the peas and some asparagus as well. But what we're actually going to do with the gnocchi, instead of just boiling them, we're going to actually roast them.
Oh, right, okay.
So we've got a nice little pan here. Put a little oil in there.
So for a pork chop that thick, how long each side?
Well, I'm going to give it about 3 minutes on each side,
right.
And I'm going to drop it into the oven.
Okay.
This is the way a restaurant works.
Yes.
So instead of leaving it on here, we'd get the score marks on, get that flavour into it, then we'd finish it off into the oven. Because during service time, everything the grill's very busy, and we got to find other ways to be able to cook things, to be able to move the kitchen on. It's not just simply just throw it on the grill and away it goes. So I will just going to give this one more turn. So we got the pan nice and hot. We're going to drop in this the dumplings. I'm just going to return it back. I'm not going to touch that pan until these again seal in that pan, because I don't want the skins to break off. I want a nice golden brown dumpling. So the chop, I'm just going to transfer that into the pan. And you see, it's beautiful. Like this now, it's kind of a rare to a medium rare. I'm going to drop this in there. Okay, so we've got the pea dumplings. We just dropped a little bit of butter in there. We're just going to toss that in the butter. And I'm just going to turn that heat right down. We'll throw some peas into there. A little bit of asparagus. And turn that heat off. Just add a little bit of pepper. Put your salt. And we're just going to leave that there until the pork chop's ready. So we'll move on to the Oxford sauce. The Oxford sauce is a reduction of red wine, port, red currant jelly, orange juice, lemon juice and zests, some cayenne pepper in there and some mustards. So we reduce that down until we get a nice syrupy thing. This has probably been taken down by 4/5. So we've reduced it right down so we get a nice syrup. So that's the sauce there, which you can see.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
And so you should get some nice smells coming out of there. You get the orange, you get the citrus there. You also get the spice as well as the cayenne. So that's the sauce. So I'm just going to look at our pork chop now, which we're good. We're about medium there. So I'm just going to leave that to rest up. So we'll leave the meat to rest up so it all relaxes. It's been in a hot oven. Put you in a hot oven, you'll be pretty tense. So we just let it relax a little bit.
How long do you leave that for?
With pork, because there's not a lot of blood going on and things like that, you'd probably leave this for about 3 or 4 minutes and then it'd be good to serve. The longer the better, really. But again, in a restaurant setting, we're looking at time. We want to get food on the table within 15 minutes. So that's just a restaurant setting. It sounds like a fast time, but when you've got maybe 100 people in the restaurant all waiting to be fed at the same time, everything's time. So we can take this to about 3 or 4 minutes and then it'll be good to go. and also that brining process is going to make it nice and tender as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to start dressing this plate up. So we've got the dumplings and the garnish. Take this bowl, and we're just going to drop these on.
So just the heat from the cooked dumplings basically warms up the asparagus and the peas there that you shoved in with them.
Very much so, yeah. It's, you know, the pan, the residual heat is another important thing as well of the pan, because the pan is carrying heat. So it's not just the dumplings, it's also the metal of the pan, which is still very, very hot.
Right. And were the peas or the asparagus pre-blanched beforehand?
The asparagus is pre-blanched, yes.
Right.
Yeah. The peas we're just coming straight in. They're very small, very sweet peas.
Right.
There's nothing really much needs to be. So then we'll take our pork chop. We're just going to position that on top. We're going to take some of our Oxford sauce. I'll just run that over. And there, we have the pork chop with the pea dumplings with the asparagus garnish.
That looks absolutely delicious. Chef, thank you very much for showing us how you do that.
You're welcome.
Cheers.